Yeah, the Illini followed up 6 days later with the guy I think we all expected them to land, but three-star linebacker Antwon Hayden, who would be their first signee from East St. Louis, the state powerhouse in the Metro East since James Knight back in 2017. First of all, what do you think is the importance of getting back in that school, Allen?
The importance is, I think, gigantic. That's always been a good program. I think it's almost at another level now because I've noticed they're getting more transfers from the other side of the river. There's a guy that they are loaded. They've always been talented. It's another level now. And I've actually seen some of the guys they have coming up the pipe, even in their middle school program to their freshmen. That is going to be a tree that continues to bear fruit. Like that train's not stopping anytime soon. So I think it's extremely important. And you've also seen some of their players at the college level come back. You've seen Keontez Lewis transfer out of UCLA and come back into the Big Ten to Wisconsin. So I think, you recruit that program because now with the portal being what it is, maybe you get one of these guys on the bounce back also. So I think that's a program that if you talk about recruiting in the Midwest and in the state of Illinois, that's very high on the list.
You always got to be recruiting for the portal too. It's right. I mean, you guys set a foundation there too. Composite, they have Antoine Hayden is number 14 in state. We have him number 24. What's your evaluation of what you see of Antoine Hayden on film?
Yeah, so really like his film actually as a linebacker. When he first came on our radar, he was in St. Louis at a smaller high school at Duchesne. And it was actually an opposing coach who told us about him. They say, hey, this guy just ran right through us. And he said Derrick Henry. He goes, we just played Derrick Henry last night. And I was going, there's no way, right? And then you pull on the film, there's this big number 22 rumbling through the defense. And I was okay. East St. Louis took him, moved him to linebacker. We weren't really sure how much of that. He hadn't done a ton. He was known more as a tailback, but he took to it really fast when you look at the statistics and the film. And even came down on the edge a little bit. You see him rushing the passer, doing some of the things we just talked about. Caden potentially doing. You see Antoine do all of those things. So not easy to just step into a program like that and be super productive. There's a lot of mouths to feed. There are a lot of people who could be making those tackles, and he did it. So I think the next thing for us is to be able to maybe see him do more defensive stuff in a setting like a camp where you get a feel for, can he drop back into coverage? Can you match him up on a running back or a tight end? There's no doubt he can come forward and hit somebody. So that's why I think right now, solid 3-star, but if we get a little bit more comfortable with him as a linebacker, I think he could still move up.
Illinois has done this, whether it was Henry Boyer last year, Jordan Anderson, Malachi Hood, where they kind of put some faith in a guy. What do you make of that? Illinois, kind of pouncing early and trying to close early on some of these guys that don't have other Power 5 offers.
Yeah, I think it has to be done. I think all the programs, even in the Big Ten, the ones that have been really successful have been able to do both, have been able to win some battles. But you look at how many guys Iowa finds. You look at Northwestern. They're the teams that have gone to Indianapolis. There's always somebody on that team where Northwestern was their only Power 5 offer. You look at Wisconsin when Brett Bielema was there. How many of those players were? I think that's the blueprint. You won some battles for some guys at Wisconsin. You also uncovered some gems who became guys, and you also took kind of positionless, versatile athletes, and you found the right spot for them. And I think that's exactly what Illinois is doing here. And I think it's a recipe for success. Even you look at the Mark D'Antonio, we mentioned Le'Veon Bell, a lot of those Mark D'Antonio teams, when they built up Michigan State, wasn't really built on the back of too many 4- and 5-star recruits. It was guys that they found. And so I think it's a successful blueprint.
Do you see Hayden as a Mike guy who can go on the edge? What do you kind of see him as on defense?
For me, looking at how East St. Louis played him, more as a Sam who came down and rushed the passer. He's built kind of like a Mike, though. He's this stocky, kind of straight ahead run stuffer. So I think you have some options with him right now because of what we see on film. I think Sam is probably the easiest projection for him, but he looks like a guy that gives you some possibilities. And I think that's what you like. I don't know that you love, any school loves to recruit a guy anymore where you go, well, he's exactly this and only this.
Yeah. Defensively, it feels like more positionless because offense is a little bit more positionless as well. Two really big targets for Illinois are also at East St. Louis. Don't know how realistic Miles McVay is. 4 stars, got offers from everywhere, but he's visited campus. And Brandon Henderson seems right kind of in their wheelhouse. That would be the guy I would peg for if you're going to get another East St. Louis kid, right? And what do you think of Brandon Henderson, the offensive lineman?
So Greg Biggins, actually, our Greg Biggins, did the game last year when St. John Bosco played East St. Louis, and he came out to an East St. Louis practice. They practiced out there, and he said, "Hey, what can you tell me about these guys?" And I said, "Well, Miles McVay, Luther Burden. Check out the other tackle." So the other tackle is really, really good, and he didn't at the time didn't have any offers. And Biggins said, "Oh yeah, I think he's not far behind Miles McVay and Paris Patterson, even though those guys have Power 5 offers. I think Brandon Henderson is really good. I think he's a guy who continue to move up in the rankings. He plays basketball, which at his size and at that school that's full of athletes, it's pretty good for him to be hooping. And I think that's actually affected. He hasn't been able to go to some things because he's had basketball. I think Brandon Henderson's really good, and I think Illinois is in a good spot for him. We'll see if they can close that one out. I also suspect that he may not be done getting offers, because I think as the Miles McVays come off the board, he's going to be a guy some schools get to.